let's go ahead and take your handouts out if you would, please. You don't need your textbooks out at the moment, but handouts out, and you could have written directly on it. That would have been fine, but also not a problem for you to do it in your notes. Wanted to keep that all together. This was intended to review some of the different straight line forms, how we could use them. Let's go and review what those straight line forms are very quickly. The most common is the slope-intercept form, right? That's what we end up going to for most of our equations when we're done anyway. And what is that slope-intercept form, Jamie?
Y equals mx plus b.
And y equals mx plus b. We had another form that's intended if you have a point and a slope, as opposed to the slope and an intercept, the slope and some point, to get you to this very quickly. Quentin?
Y minus equals m times x plus x or minus x.
There we go. If we were given 2 points, we did not memorize a 2-point form. What do we do if we have 2 points, Jamie?
2 points.
We don't have it. When the book gave you a 2-point form, I said, nah, we ain't memorizing that. It's too big and nasty.
So just use one? What was that equation?
Find slope.
Find the slope, and then use one of the points as the x1, y1, and the slope that you found. Because that's really what the 2-point equation has anyway. Why would we memorize something that big and nasty? We had another form called the intercept form, Jamie.
The intercept form. Is that x over a plus y over b equals 1?
There we go. The defining characteristic of slope-intercept form class is that the equation is set equal to y. The defining characteristic of intercept form is set equal to 1. And again, b is the y-intercept in each case. A simply represents the x-intercept. We also had the general or the standard form we introduced yesterday. We're going to spend more time talking about that in just a little bit. There we go. And the nice thing about the general form class? No fractions. We like that. We'll talk more about that later. Then we have the form of a line that's parallel to the x-axis. Well, any line parallel to the x-axis, we could look at it and say, well, that's a horizontal line. Okay, so what's going to be the form of all horizontal lines, Jamie?
Y will equal y1.
Y will equal y1. Some particular y value that's in every single one of the points on the line. And a vertical line, class or a line parallel to the y-axis, is going to be in what form, Quentin?
X equals x1.
X equals x1. So let's see, based on these forms, how we did on the handout. Question number 1 said, find the equation of a line that has a y-intercept and a slope of 5. All right. Note to self. So, that's what the first edition says. By the time you're watching this on YouTube, it actually says has a y-intercept of 0, -4, and a slope of 5, but it's not what it said on their handout that I gave them. So you had no way of doing question number 1. That means I can throw away all these extra copies I had printed for future years, so I wouldn't have to print more because I'm lazy. All right, so find the equation line as y-intercept 0, -4, and slope of 5. What would we have had there? Jamie?
A y-intercept of 4.
Of 0, -4.
So it would have been,
and a slope of 5.
would have been y equals 5x plus, or -4.
There we go. And that should be our answer here. So again, if you're watching yours, you're like, my paper's fine. Of course it is. Theirs wasn't. And mine wasn't when I recorded this, but it's there now. All right, number 2. Find the equation of a line that's parallel to the y-axis and passes through the point 5, -6. Well, again, parallel to the y-axis is what form?
Parallel to the y-axis is X-intercept.
Well, x equals something, right? So what's going to be the equation of a line parallel to the y-axis through 5, -6?
X equals 5.
X equals 5. Number 3. I'll write it on the board. There's our answer. All right, number 3. Find the equation of a line through to 1 that has a slope of -3. What form should we use here, Jamie?
Slope intercept?
Well, we're going to get there, but I'm not ready for it yet. Because I don't have a slope and a y-intercept.
Oh, y minus y1 equals m times x x1.
There we go. Tell me how to plug in the numbers.
Y minus 1 equals -3
we go. And then we just got to simplify it down.
And it'll be negative 3x plus 6. You'll bring the whole number as a positive to get 7.
So
y equals negative 3x plus 7.
And there's our answer for number 3. Number 4, Quentin. Find the equation of a line that has an x-intercept of 6 and a y-intercept of negative 4. Which form should we start out in? Yeah, the intercept form. Tell me how to plug in the numbers.
X over 6 minus y over 4 equals 1.
There we go. But if I want to get it into slope-intercept form, I would need to get y by itself. So what should I do? A couple of ways we could approach it.
Double switch the negative y over 4 into 1.
So x6 minus 1 is equal to y4ths, and then, good, not by the LCD, but just by the 4, and we end up getting
2x over 3 minus 4 equals y.
There we go, where I'm going to put the equals y at the front, and there's our answer for number 4, questions on number 4. And number 5, find the equation of y that passes through negative 3, 7, and 2, 2. Again, what do we have to do first, Jamie?
We have to find the slope.
Find the slope first. And what did you get for the slope?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Now, once we know the slope, Quentin,
Put it into the point slope form.
good, go back to the point slope form.
So y minus 2 equals negative 1 times x minus 2. Distribute the negative 8 plus 2 with 2 over x plus 4. So y equals negative x plus 4.
And there's our answer for number 5. All right, questions on 1 through 5. And you all on question 1 felt very confused? Like that. All right, questions on this. Question, I was copying this off. I used to dictate the problems for homework. I'm like, that takes too long. I'm just going to make a handout for them. And when I was copying it from my usual notes over, I was like, rats, missed something. All right, questions. All right, clear desk except for a clean sheet of paper and a pencil. Clean sheet of paper and a pencil, calculator if you want it. Wouldn't hurt. Clean sheet of paper, pencil, calculator, everything else away. First and last name at the top of your paper, along with today's date, which is 3/4/22. 3/4/22. And this is quiz 34. Quiz 34. First and last name, 3/4/22, today's date. And this is quiz 34. Let's go and take a look at the quiz together very quickly. Numbers 1 through 6, you're just writing out the various forms as they are requested. For number 7 through 10, you're going to write the equations using the appropriate form, and then all answers need to be in slope-intercept form, which is what we've been doing anyway. Okay, so consistent with what we've been doing, but leave answers in the slope-intercept form. All right, you may begin.